Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This channel is dedicated to helping beginners enhance and improve their editing skills. Actually some years back when I started photography, and most times when I come online to learn one or few tricks on color grading, retouching, or whichever aspect of editing that I wanted, the answers are there online actually, but then most times I see people selling lots, selling actions and the rest, but I do believe that there are traditional ways of getting these things done, and that is why this channel is there for you, for beginners, to help you improve your editing skills. Please subscribe, like and share. Without wasting your time, in today's tutorial I'll be teaching you guys how to color grade images like this, especially when you're having two personality in your image and they have different colors. In one of my previous tutorials, someone asked me a question of what about if you are color grading for two different persons in the same composition, and meanwhile they have different colors. So this is how to go about it. Very simple, very simple, very simple. The first thing you want to do is, first, in fact, in all your editings, don't forget, come to optics when you shoot on RAW. This image is actually, I took it on ISO 125, aperture 5.6, and shutter speed is /125 seconds. So if you shoot on RAW, you open your image with camera raw, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. This image is on RAW, and that is why I open it with camera raw. So we'll do some adjustment on it before we open into Photoshop. So the first thing you want to do is come to your optics, open it right here in camera raw, come to use profile correction and just check it on, just like that. Very important. Then you come to your profile. Let me just check this in as well. Please, whenever you are taking your images, there should be something in your mind you want to achieve with your portrait. You get, as soon as you get to your location or in the studio, whichever way of shooting you might be doing, just make sure that you picture something in your mind. This will help your post-production. I do this a lot. Especially my outdoors, I do it a lot. During shooting, I already had something in mind, the kind of tone I want for the image in my post-production and the rest. So I make sure I work something out right there when I'm shooting, so that when I'm working on my post-production in Photoshop or Lightroom or whichever software you might be using, it will be easy. So while I was taking this picture, I already have this at the back of my mind that it will just be as simple as possible. I'm not doing frequency separation. It's just going to be color grading and little adjustment, that's all. So that being said, you come to your color profile. Since I don't want too much color, you have options of Adobe Color, Landscape, Portrait, Standard, Vivid. Vivid can introduce more color and landscape, but I don't want too much color in the image, so I'm going to use Standard. This is just for this particular image because of what I had in mind already. For you, you might have something in mind separate from this, and don't ever limit yourself to whatsoever tutorial or pattern you watch online. You can go extra mile and try new things out. By doing that, you'll be learning more and even faster. You discover new things as well. So I'll be using Standard. Then the next thing I want to do is, I'm coming to my calibration here. That is the next thing I want to do. So I'll come to my blue primary, I'll come to the saturation, I will increase it to, let's say, plus 30. Let me just look at the image. Okay, plus 30 is okay there. Then we'll come to green primary. I want to add a little bit to that as well. It's 5, not too much. Let's just leave it around 4. Then I'll come to red, just little of red, around 3, 4 there. Okay, 3 is okay. If that's it being done, then I come to my basic. Here in basic, I would like to adjust the temperature. I'll adjust the temperature. I want warmness a little bit. Okay, around 5450, it's okay. Then the tint, I'm going to adjust it as well. It's on +1, so I'm going to adjust it to like -4. Okay, -3. I'm not going to do anything on the exposure. I like the exposure like this. I'm just going to work on the contrast and the highlight. So I will increase our contrast to, let's say, +9. Then we reduce the highlight. I drag it down completely. Can you see it? Completely. I'm taking it down completely. Then my shadows, I increase the shadows to, let's say, plus 18. I don't want too much shadow in the image. Let's say plus 17. Okay, that's okay. Then the white, I'm bringing down the white, yes, to minus 42. Then watch it, as soon as I touch the white and I drag it down, you discover that it's introducing more of blue to the picture. Don't worry about that, especially to the bride's gown, the wedding gown. You discover it's white before. As soon as I drag the white down, it's introducing some blues into the wedding gown, which is white. We can do that later. So for now, just focus on what we are doing for now. We'll remove the blue from the ground later. So let's leave it around 42. Then my texture, I just want to increase the texture a little bit, small as, let's say, 14. Okay, that's okay. Let's say 14 thereabout. Then my vibrance, of course, I'm going to increase my vibrance. I'm taking my vibrance up as 20, or let's even say 21. Then I'll reduce the saturation. Yes, I'm going to reduce it. Since I increase the vibrance like that, I don't want too much of it. I just reduce the saturation to, let's say, minus 8. Okay, let's see the little we've done so far, before and after. Are you seeing it? Before and after. Okay, we are going gradually. So I'm done with basic for now. If there's anything I'll need to do, I'll come back and I'll tell you why. So we go to color mixer. Why am I coming to color mixer? I want to work on the greens in the image, the greens especially. That's my focus, and that's why I'm coming to color mixer. I might decide to touch on 2 things as well, but that's the primary reason I'm coming to color mixer. So the first thing I want to do is hue. Remember your hue, your saturation, and your luminance. Your luminance is works with the brightness of the color. If you adjust any of this luminance, let's say let's come to green, let's come to luminance for instance. Let's decrease our green. You see, if you look at the greens in the image, the brightness is reducing. That's the essence of luminance. And the saturation, I guess you know the meaning, and the hue is just to play around the color, to fine-tune the color. So I'll come to my hue. I want to adjust the greens. I don't want this color of green in particular. I want to adjust a little bit, so I'm going to drag it up. I want it to be a little bit dramatic, so I'm dragging it up. 59. The aquas as well. Let me just see whether it will do some little magic. It's not really having any effects like that, so I'll just leave it. Then I'll come to my saturation. Now I'll come to my saturation and increase the saturation of the greens. Okay, remember I told you the primary reason we are here on this color mixer for this edit is because of these greens. So I will increase the saturation to around 30. Then let me just add a little bit of yellow to my image. I said it earlier, I might touch some of 1 or 2 things. Then the red as well, let's take it up to about 13. Okay, I think this is good. I don't want too much color in the image, so I'm just liking it this way. If you want more color, you can just continue dragging some of these lights and definitely you get what you want. But for this particular edit, this is how I want it done. Okay, so that being said, let's go back to our color mixer. Let's come to luminance. On the greens, I want it down. I don't want it shouty, so I'll just bring the brightness down a little bit. So let's say minus 15. That's okay. So if that has been done, let's see before and after. Before, after, before, after. You see, massive difference before, after. Don't you like it? For me, I like it. Not too much drama on the color, so I'll still work on that later, but for now this is just how I want it. Then the last thing I'm going to do here on Camera Raw, I love doing it a lot. To be honest, I do it a lot. So we'll be coming here, come to your this right top right corner where you have your toggle full screen mode and the rest, your edit, your crop, and every other thing. So come to this particular masking. If your camera raw is not having this masking item or masking properties, then probably you need to upgrade your camera raw. Most of the camera raws now have this they have this. So make sure you upgrade your camera if you are not having this. It will help you a lot. So we'll click on the masking to tell you to select subject or select the sky. We don't want the sky, we just want to select the subject. Actually, it's not even the subject we want to select, it's the background we want to work on. But then we select the subject, then we invert. It's just very simple that way. Select the subject. Since there is no provision for the background, it's just provision for subject and sky. So we'll select the subject and then we invert it. And meanwhile, camera does a very good job when it comes to selecting of subject. It might not be 100% accurate, but trust me, it's most times 87, 88, 89, 90% accuracy from the selection. So even if you are going to make any adjustment, it will just be minimal. Okay, here we are. The selection has been made. Like I said earlier, what we need to do now is, you can see that the accuracy of the selection is just out of this world. You can see, for me it's accurate. You get, it's just accurate. So what we need to do now is we invert so that we can work on the background, not on the image. Why am I working on the background? Just click on your invert. Sorry, I did that twice. Why am I working on the background? It's the background is kind of competing with the image in terms of color. So I want a distinct difference between the background. Not so much difference actually, but at least when whoever is looking at the image should be able to picture the groom and the bride first before even looking at the background. So that's why I'm going to make little adjustment to the background. And what am I going to do? The first thing I want to do is I'm going to reduce the exposure. If you remember, I did not do anything on the general exposure while we started the edit. So I'm going to reduce the exposure. You see, you can see the difference. I will increase the contrast as well, so like plus. Let's just keep dragging up till we get something we want. Okay, I think at this point I love it here. That's 21. Then the highlight, I'm going to drag it down a little bit. Please, whenever you are dragging or adjusting, just keep your eyes on the image so that once you get to what you want, you can just stop there. You don't need to cram some of these numbers. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It could be, you could use 21 here and the next image it could be 15, it could be 4. It depends on the exposure of the image you are working on. So I want to work as well on the temperature. So I want to add some blue to the background. Some blue to the background. Around here it's so okay. Here it's okay. Then I'll come to tint and I just change the slide, push it towards the purple side, just like that. Once it's okay, I'll stop. For me, okay, for me it's okay around here. Okay, I think I'm okay like this. I so much love this. Look at it before and after, before and after. I so much love it. The only challenge I'm having right now is the wedding gown, which too much blue is on it right now already. It should be white, not blue. So but then I will adjust that later. So that being said, you can come back to our edit. Let's look at it again, before and after. Do you have any other thing we want to do? For me, I don't have any other thing I want to adjust. I said, okay, let me just adjust the blacks. Let me drag it down a little bit, maybe like just a little bit -5. I think that's okay. If you are done, just like I did here, the next thing I want to do is I want to open it with Photoshop. I'm okay like this, very okay. I told you I just want simple edit on it, just simple touches. So you click on your open, then Photoshop will open it for you. Once Photoshop opens it for you like this, it's loading. Okay, here we go. The first thing you want to do right now is this reflector on the ground. I want to remove it. There are two ways of doing that. You can use your clone stamp tool, which we have here, or you can just use your fill. Just select the area, then right click, then you just click on your fill. Okay, Once you click on your field, it will show you color, and if this content is on color, just change it to content aware. Then it will automatically fill that place up with the surrounding areas, just like this. You see, I think that's okay. Once you are done with that, if there are other things you want to remove, you can do them as well. You can just like these ones as well. If you just apply the same thing, it does a perfect job like that as well. I think for me that's okay. Okay, we have another line here. Okay, that's okay. So since we have it like this, remember I told you that we want to make the gown white, not blue. So what you need to do is come to your hue and saturation. You can find it on your adjustment right on the Photoshop here. If you don't have it here, you can bring it through. You can see it here down around the top right corner. Is it up? No, down corner of your screen. You see it here. You see where you have your create new fill and adjustment layer. If you just click on it, every other adjustment layers are there. So you come to your hue saturation, and once you click on hue saturation, you want to remove the blues, right? So select on, come to your mask, come to blue, select on the blue, then come to your saturation, just drag it down completely. I know, yes, it's affecting some of the blues we added to the background, but don't worry about that. The next thing you want to do now is you just invert it. Click on your mask, then invert. If you don't want to do it that way, you can just come and click on the mask right here and press Ctrl I. It will invert. So once you invert like that, it brings back, it takes us back to what we have initially. So now you pick up your brush. Please make sure that your color is set on white and black. If it's set on any other color, just press D on your keyboard. It will reset automatically. And your X to toggle between black and white. So since our mask is on black, which has hidden the removal of or the adjustment we made on the hue saturation, then we are going to use white. Make sure your brush is set on white to reveal what has been hidden. So now what has been hidden here is the fact that we've removed blue, so we want to reveal it. Make sure your brush is on white, and soft brush is selected, soft round brush. Okay, then we just paint on these places just like this. Can you see it? We are removing the blue already. Just paint like that. Very simple. Those edges, make sure you reduce the size of your brush so that you don't paint into the background. And then even if you paint by mistake, you can always come back and adjust them again. So it's not something you should be scared of. Just the blue, you can see. Take for instance, I mistakenly paint into here now, into the background. What you need to do is just change your brush to black by pressing X and paint the blue back into the background. Can you see it? As simple as that. So let's take it back to white, since we are working on just the blue on the gown. Those edges, please use smaller brush, reduce the size of your brush, and just paint like that. Once you are done doing that, okay, for me I think I'm okay like this. See, before, after. We are done with the blue. So now if you look at this image, quite all right, the bride is fair and the groom is dark. He might not be that dark, very dark, I mean, but he's dark. So the first thing we want to do is we want to push up the skin tone of the bride. And how do we do that? We'll do it separately. We'll do for the bride and we'll do for the groom. That's one thing about when you are working with couple or 2 persons or 3 persons in a portrait and they have 3 or different skin tones, which I'm sure most times they have different skin tone. I've not really seen 3 persons in image having the same skin tone before. I don't know if you've seen that, but most times, I won't say it's impossible, but most times they have different skin tones. So what we need to do first is I want to push up the skin tone of the bride. How do I do that? I just come straight to my adjustment layer here. Then I select on photo filter. You see before, after. Don't mind, I just focus on the bride. the fact that it's affecting all the images means nothing. We are working on masks, so we'll mask it out later. So before, after, I still want the warmness. I don't really like it, so you can come select on your color, double click on this color, then I want to increase, come to your color slide here. It represents the hue, so I just want to take it up a little bit towards the yellow, like that. Too much, okay, like that. I think I'm okay. Then click on okay. Once you have it that way, like I said earlier, invert it. We don't want it on all the image, we don't want it on all the portrait, so just invert it like that. You can use Ctrl+I as well to invert. So once you have done that, we'll come back to our brush now. Remember, our brush is on the mask is on black, so our brush will be on white. And make sure please that when you select your brush, your opacity should be on 100 and your flow 100 as well. Very important, don't forget. Thank you. So the next thing you want to do is you come to your bride, because that's what we are working on. You come to your bride and paint on the bride just like this. Are you even seeing the difference? Of course, for me, I'm seeing it. I don't want it too much, so please don't paint inside the eye. Be careful those parts, and if you by mistake paint on it, you know what to do. Just select a black brush and paint the white back. But I want to make sure I don't paint on it, because I don't have intention of whitening the eye or whitening the teeth. I just want it as natural as possible, like that. I don't want it that way. For the fact I said I don't want it that way doesn't mean it's because of what my client wanted. They wanted it natural, like that. So it depends on what your client wants as well. I mean, except maybe you are just editing the image for your own personal use. If not, work with your client's specifications. So now I have it that way. Okay, that's been done. I love it this way. See, before and after. Let me zoom before and after. But I still want to push it up a little bit. So I come to my selective color. Come to your selective color. Okay, here we have it. Then use your clip mask. The essence of using clip mask is that whatever we are doing on selective color now will only affect the photo filter adjustment layer. Do you get it? It won't affect the whole image. It will only affect photo filter, the previous adjustment layer that we just worked on. So click on your clip. Anything we are doing now is affecting where we've just worked on. Come to yellow and take it up a little bit. If I take it up completely, you see the difference. You see, okay, so take it up a little bit. Then the black as well. Then come to your red, take it up a little bit as well, maybe by around 211. Then the black, take it up by 6. I think that's okay. Look at it before, after. Can you see it? Before, after. That is way too much actually, so I'm bringing the opacity down to, let's say, around 50. Even the photo filter as well, I'm bringing the opacity down to around 65. Okay, that's okay for me. Now I'm okay with the bride. The next thing I want to do is I want to work on the groom. So what I want to do on the groom, the only thing I just want to do on the groom is I just want to reduce the saturation. So what I'm going to do is just come to your hue saturation, click on it, and click on red. I want to reduce the red, so I'll just drag it down a little bit by minus something. Then you invert. Once you invert, pick up your brush just like we've been doing and just paint on his face just like that. Okay, so introduce the saturation just like that. Okay. If it's too much, don't worry, you can always reduce the opacity. Okay, I think I'm okay like this. Yeah, this is way too much, not having any color again, but that's why we need opacity. We just drag down a little bit, let's say to minus 35. Before and after, let's see, before and after. Okay, that is fantastic for me. Just little adjustment. Let's group them, select all and put them into one group. We are putting them into one family. Before, after, just look at it. Before, after. This is incredible for me. If it's too much, you can still always come back to the general opacity and still bring it down. Let's say minus 90. Most times I don't even like 100. Minus 90. That's okay. The last but not the least, I still want to work on the greens. Selective color. This time around we are working on the general. So since it's selective color, it's just green, and the green that we have here is not affecting the skin tone. So we just come to the greens. Let's play around with the sliders and see what we can achieve. Let's take it. Let me push it here so that you can see it more. Okay, just play around with the slide and see what we can come up with. This is too much. I like this. No, I don't want to do anything with the black. Let me just work with the magenta, yellow, and cyan. Okay, alright. I think I'm okay like this. Let's see before, after, just a little different before and after. Wow, that's incredible. Let's group everything together now and see before and after. Okay, this is not bad. And this brings us to the end of the tutorial. Please, if you know you've learned something, if you know you learned something, please don't forget, like I said earlier, subscribe, like, share, and make comments. See you in my next tutorial.